Before I get officially going with this video on my purpose of why I don't like the Hunter x Hunter 2011 anime, I am going to explain to you essentially how I started watching Hunter x Hunter. Of course, I heard Togashi work, and Togashi Yoshihiro is amazing. I watched Hakusho. I tried watching Level E, and I almost dropped episode 3. I dropped it because I felt like he pulled the ultimate troll on us right there, and I'm like, no, I couldn't do it anymore. So I dropped it, but then I came back to it, and then episode 4 happened, and then the rest is history from there. Now it's one of my favorite series of all time. It's just that I wish I had been one going into it at first that it was a troll series. Because Togashi is a master. He was 20 years ahead of his time when it comes to trolling. And then I heard about Hunter x Hunter. And I've gotten to a very similar situation with that, where I wanted to watch the best version of it, and I watched the 2011 version. I did choose between 99 version, 2011 version, and the manga. So I chose the 2011 version, and I started watching that. And I just say from last February to last September, I took breaks in between, but last September that's when I was watching the 2011 version. And then I dropped the series episode 82 because up to that point I was kind of disappointed in it. Like the Hunter exam, that was okay arc. Tower of Heaven, that was an okay arc. The whole Dokkan City arc, that was like a good Viking Lightning's Ring, good plus the great arc. And Great Island was just subpar at best. The best, if it wasn't for that whole volleyball game against Racer, it'd probably be a terrible arc to me. It's still the worst arc in the series to me. Nothing against it. I'm just saying that if you compare it to all the rest of the arcs, I think it's the weakest. But then Chimera Ants happened, and it just rolled right out from there, and it was just not a very good, not a good transition because, well, the first 9 episodes, it's not really that fast. It was just so slow and monotonous. So I dropped it right there, episode 82, or rather 81. And then I picked it back up, and right around the time when there was that central guy attacking the humans, like he had those human pets that got me interested, and we set the whole episode 85, the whole shock there. I'm not going to spoil it, and then that's where I got hooked in a bit, and then after that, they went into training arc again, and that goes to my point 1 is my point 1 of why I don't like per se the Hunter x Hunter series more than 2011 version, but for now I'll say that it's going to be for the 2011 version is that there's too much training in this show. If you count out how many times they've trained, they train in the Tower of Heaven arc, they train in Great Island, they train in the Chimera Ant arc. It's just too much training, and I feel like they're not making any real progress because they're training. I mean, sure, they progress just enough so they don't get slaughtered by the next guy that fights them. That's basically how they train, and I don't think that's right. Now, that's side rant aside. I go back to my story. Now, after episode when I started doing the whole knuckle thing, knuckle shoot train, I'm like, fuck it. I'm done. I was right after the King's birth. I'm like, fuck that. I'm not going back to training, so I jumped straight into the manga around late September last year. That's when I stopped it. And then from September to November 6th or something, or somewhere around that week, I caught up with Hunter x Hunter. And I'm telling you, the manga of Hunter x Hunter, there's just something special about it. It's beautiful when you actually start to read it. I don't care what people say about the art. It adds a sort of a surreal nature to the series in its entirety, because I don't know. It's like when you're reading it, it feels like you're reading like an ancient, like an epic almost. Like these just ironically, these scribblings of these ancient vows going on or something, and a struggle of humanity and the price of victory and pride, and how the evolution of species, and also these other complex things that I'm not even smart enough to even try and decipher. That's just how good Togashi Yoshihiro is. And I can't even put into words how epic, for chapters 264 onwards to 310, it was amazing. And I don't care what anyone says, the election arc was just as good as the entire Chimera Ant arc. That was beastly. That was the best election I've ever seen. I mean, you really should realize the election was that exciting and complex. But off now that I finished my story, I can go into my second point since I already had my first point in the middle of my story, which I wasn't supposed to do, but I just had to do it because this is only Dragon Ball Z can pull off that much training. My second point, for the anime in particular, this one is restricted only to the anime, not affecting the manga or anything else. The first one, the whole training thing, that affects the entire series, but this one is just for the anime. My second problem is the narrator. He bumps in so much in the anime. It's like in the manga, it's not as noticeable because it's just square panels, and some I have problems reading because it goes from all these huge complex, like these paragraphs upon paragraphs upon paragraphs of all these just of all the characters. And I never really noticed it too much, but in the anime, when you actually hear the narrator talking his line, like he bumps in every single point possible to explain these things. And when it comes to the anime, I just feel like these things that he say should be coming from the characters themselves. Like they should be thinking it in the middle of their fights or whatever. Like how Yuppie, he should be thinking a few of these things. Like when he was talking about how he has now gained respect for the hunters and things like that, or shoot, what he's supposed to say, how he's finally gained the confidence to actually fight and be a man in his life, basically. That was his problem. He couldn't just man up, and that's what I respect him for. Within 10 seconds, that's amazing. Within 10 seconds, he became a man. Oh, Togashi. Like I'll keep on praising him. No matter, you can say it's hard, whatever. It's Togashi Yoshihiro. You can't give that man enough praise. He's like a savior for anime and manga. But the problem, like I was saying, the narrator. He has too much. He says too much. Like he jumps in at any time. I don't like that. And I guess my final biggest problem with Hunter x Hunter 2011 anime is, well, the music. I have never heard such a repetitive soundtrack before. Like, it's one thing to be repetitive, but when the music isn't even that good, and that's surprising me the most. This is the same guy, I'm pretty sure, who created Death Note music, and I'm like, what happened? I mean, Graham, I think for a show as complex as Hunter x Hunter, what they should have done is like what JoJo's doing. Like for every single part, they get new music composers. So what they should have done, like the first 26 or 27 episodes of Hunter exam, have like survival-based music and someone do that. And the next 14 episodes for the Heaven's Arena, they should have had like someone coming for the tournament music. And then the next 20 or so episodes has someone coming for York New City. Then the next like 10 to 15 episodes has someone coming for the Greed Island, make some RPG themed music. That'd be really nice. And then finally have someone come in for the Chimera Anarch for like the dark shonen music. That would be amazing if they did that. But the problem is, it's the same music on repeat, like Legend Martial Arts, repeat, all that stuff. What do you call them? To give a marionette life, repeat. They just keep on doing the same music over and over again. In fact, in this invasion, I only hear one new track out of everything. I'm not listening that deeply to the music because it's like it doesn't really do anything for me. When a show has like background music, I don't even know. It's fine as long as the music does not interfere with the show. You see, my problem is whenever I watch a show and the music doesn't stand out, fine as long as it's background music and it just like fits with the theme of the show and everything, I can ignore it and it just adds the atmosphere. I can just stroll right on by, just smooth. But the problem with this is that this music gets in my way of the enjoyment of the actual episodes that I watch. Same thing applies to the narrator. Combine the two together and it makes the trailer version very hard to watch. And this is especially pivotal now. I know next week in the preview, if you watched it and you know everything about the manga, now if you watched it and didn't know about the manga, you still know, but you know the fight is coming. Especially if you watch the manga, you know how fucking hype you're gonna be when you watch it. And I don't want the music and the narrator to just kill my buzz. So those are overall my reasons why I don't like the 2011 version of Hunter x Hunter. I give it 7 out of 10 just because when it comes to the story and characters, it's Togashi. He has the cover from the manga. When it comes to animation, voice acting, and anime does a great job. It's that fifth vital piece, the music. That's my biggest problem with the show. I can take the narrator, I could take all the training that they do. That's just comes with the show, of course. It's just that why is the music so redundant? I've watched Inuyasha, Naruto, Bleach. Well, not even Bleach, I can't go. I watched Inuyasha, Naruto, Shippuden, mind you, not the original, Shippuden, and I can deal with that music. Though Supreme music still sucks. It just doesn't get on my nerves as much. But you guys don't care about the show nearly as much as I used to. That's a video for a whole nother day. Inuyasha, its music it has like 4 tracks, like maybe 5 when it comes to fighting, and that has all the soft music, and I could still deal with that a lot easier. I don't know, just get a different music composer or something. This is not his best work. I'll put his name in the description if I remember.